Welcome to a city where dreams are created, packaged, and sold worldwide. Los Angeles. The mere mention of it immediately conjures up images of towering palm trees, the glittering lights of Hollywood, and towering hilltop mansions with outrageous prices. For decades, this city has been a beacon of success, a beacon for those who believe in the American dream. Here, anything seems possible. Here, the sun never seems to dim, shining on human ambition. But if you look down from the majestic skyscrapers of downtown, or turn just a block from the glittering Walk of Fame, you'll discover a different reality. One that never appears in tourist brochures or Oscar-winning films. As the sun begins to set, the once beautiful light turns into long shadows that sweep across the sidewalks. And in those shadows, the hidden face of Los Angeles begins to emerge. No longer the laughter of celebrities is heard, but the creaking of plastic tents zipping shut along the sidewalks. No longer the scent of expensive perfume is in the air, but the stench of urine, wood smoke, and despair hangs in the air. More than 75,000 people, children, the elderly, and even war veterans, survive without shelter in this region. They live under bridges, on the side of freeways, and even in front of luxury boutiques on Rodeo Drive. It's a painful irony. In one of the wealthiest places on Earth, thousands of people struggle just to sleep safely. Los Angeles's homelessness crisis is no longer just a social problem. It's a systemic failure. It's an open wound in the heart of California that refuses to heal. Why is a city with $1 billion budget and state-of-the-art technology unable to provide its citizens with the most basic need, shelter? Are those on the streets victims of their own choices, or are they merely the residue of a broken and cruel system? Over the next few minutes, we'll cut through the fog of this city's illusions. We'll look beyond the statistics, hear the voices that have been silenced, and unravel the harsh reality behind the City of Angels. Let's begin this journey. To understand Los Angeles, you have to understand the concept of distance. In most cities around the world, rich and poor neighborhoods are separated by rivers, freeways, or other clear boundaries. But in LA, the distance between overwhelming prosperity and crushing poverty is sometimes just a footstep. Here, the line is invisible, yet palpable. We often call it a contrast, but it's actually a clash of two civilizations forced to coexist under the same sky. Imagine standing on a street corner in Santa Monica. To your right, a row of world-class designer boutiques line the streets, where a single handbag can cost as much as a year's factory worker's salary. People walk by in expensive sportswear, holding $7 lattes, and discussing stock investments. But just turn your head to the left, under the shade of the same palm tree, and you'll see an elderly man sitting atop a pile of cardboard boxes. All his possessions, his entire life, are contained within a single plastic shopping cart whose wheels are no longer straight. He's not waiting for a bus. He's waiting for a miracle that never comes. Then we get to the heart of the problem: Skid Row. This area is the greatest anomaly on Earth. Just a few blocks from the skyscrapers that house the headquarters of global banks and giant law firms, Skid Row stands like a monument to human failure. Here, the sidewalks are no longer public amenities, but rather the living rooms of thousands. Plastic tents patched with duct tape stand huddled together, creating a seemingly endless maze of poverty. On one side of the street, a new condominium is being built with a rent of $5,000 a month. On the other side of the street, directly beneath the windows of that condominium, someone is trying to light a small fire in an old tin can just to warm his fingers. This contrast creates a terrifying psychological phenomenon for anyone who lives here: normalization. People begin to learn not to look. They learn to walk past the bodies curled up on the asphalt as if they were just another piece of the city's broken decor. There's a particularly dark irony in the scene of a young executive arguing on the phone about his annual bonus while, right beside him, a young mother is trying to clean her child's face with the remains of mineral water she found in the trash. In Los Angeles, luxury and misery don't greet each other. They simply observe each other in a suffocating silence. Why is this contrast so extreme? Why does a city of immense wealth seem to allow this wound to remain open and festering in plain sight? The answer isn't a lack of money, and it's not a lack of space. To understand why these two worlds fail to merge, we must look beyond the superficial and begin to dissect the engine that drives this city. Often, when we see someone sleeping on the cold asphalt, our minds automatically reach for the easiest excuse. Maybe they're on drugs, or they must have a mental illness. It's easy to blame the individual because it makes us feel safe, as if the same thing could never happen to us. But if the problem were simply drugs or mental health, why is the homelessness rate in Los Angeles so much higher than in other cities with similar drug use rates? The answer lies in one cold, hard word: system. In Los Angeles, we are witnessing a broken machine, a system no longer designed to protect people, but to worship the value of assets. Let's talk about the basic mathematics of life in California. Los Angeles is one of the most competitive real estate markets in the world. Here, housing has transformed from its primary function of shelter to a wildly profitable investment vehicle. Rent for a simple one-bedroom apartment can reach $3,000 a month. Meanwhile, the minimum wage has never kept pace with the rate of price increases. Imagine working 2 or 3 jobs at once, yet 70% of your income is spent just to pay for a roof over your head. At this point, life becomes incredibly fragile. One car accident, one unexpected medical bill, or one layoff is the thin line separating you from a soft mattress and the hard pavement. So why isn't the city building more affordable housing? This is where the bureaucracy begins to choke. For decades, Los Angeles has been bound by archaic and rigid zoning laws. In most parts of the city, building densely populated apartments is prohibited. Only single-family homes with large yards are permitted. These are rules designed to preserve exclusivity, not to accommodate human growth. Add to that the phenomenon known as NIMBY, not in my backyard. Middle and upper-class residents often agree that homeless people need housing, but please, don't build near my neighborhood. Protests, lawsuits, and cumbersome regulations mean that building a single affordable housing unit in LA can take years and cost more than building a luxury home. As a result, Los Angeles has created a cruel system of musical chairs. The number of seats keeps getting smaller, while the number of people wanting to sit keeps growing. Every time the music stops, there are always people left without a place to go. And those who are most vulnerable, those with the least savings, or those without families, are the first to fall into the streets. The system doesn't have a safety net strong enough to catch those who fall through the cracks. Once you lose your address, you lose your identity, you struggle to find work, and suddenly, you're caught in a spiral that's nearly impossible to escape. But behind these statistics and failed policies are faces we often forget. There's a heartbeat behind every tent we pass. If you walk down a Los Angeles sidewalk, it's easy to see only the problems. You see a dirty tent, a pile of trash, or someone talking to themselves on a street corner. We tend to label them with one word that strips them of their entire identity: homeless. But let's pause and undo that label. Let's remember that no baby is born dreaming of sleeping under a bridge. The third word we must absorb is human. Because behind every zipped tent is a name, a childhood memory, and a heart that still beats, though it may have been broken countless times. Who are they, really? If you have the courage to reach out, you'll discover that the face of homelessness in LA is incredibly diverse. Meet David, a war veteran who once risked his life for his country, only to find that his country can't even afford a single restroom for him to recover from his past trauma. Meet Maria, a mother who works full-time as a downtown cleaner, but because of rising rents, she's forced to raise her 2 children in a 1990s sedan parked in a dark alley. These are not lazy people. They are people running on the treadmill of life, set too high until they finally fall off. Have you ever imagined what it's like to be invisible? On the streets of LA, the greatest suffering isn't hunger or cold, but the humiliation of dignity. Imagine racking your brains every day just to find a place to relieve yourself or wash your face. Imagine having to sleep with one eye open for fear of your small bag containing valuable papers being stolen or thrown away by the city's cleaning crews. Living on the streets is a full-time, draining job. It's a 24/7 struggle just to survive, while the world around you passes by as if you're a ghost with no right to be there. And most tragic of all is what happens to the human soul when they're on the streets too long. Chronic stress, profound shame, and constant fear begin to erode sanity. Many turn to drugs not to party, but to numb the pain and noise in their heads. The streets are a place where hope slowly dies. Yet, even when they've lost everything, humanity often emerges in the darkest places. You'll see homeless people sharing their last piece of bread with a stray dog, or people guarding each other's tents while their neighbors are away. Because ultimately, when systems fail and policies are deadlocked, all that remains is human concern. But why isn't that concern visible at the tables of power? Why do large budgets seem to simply evaporate? We have come this far, piercing the glittering fog that shrouds Los Angeles to see what lies beyond. We have dissected painful contrasts, seen stuck systems, touched the forgotten side of humanity, criticized dead-end policies, and searched for seeds of hope among the ruins of dreams. This journey may have been hard, but turning a blind eye is not an option if we want real change. Los Angeles is a mirror. It is an extreme portrait of what happens when economic growth leaves humanity behind. This crisis reminds us that a civilization should not be measured by the height of its skyscrapers or the luxury of its red carpets, but by how well it treats its most vulnerable citizens. Because ultimately, a city's strength lies not in its concrete and asphalt, but in the dignity of every soul that lives within it. Perhaps LA still deserves to be called the City of Angels. But today, those angels are not flying. They are struggling to survive on the sidewalks, waiting for us to simply care and stop looking away. Thank you for taking the time to see another side of this world. See you in the next story.